2, 1, 2. Microphone check. 1, 2.
Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, today.
The Zaddy cook.
I'm talking to the Fit Baker. Today I am talking to the Fit Baker himself, Crosby Taylor. If you're interested in eating sweet, delicious things and not have them be bad for you, this episode is for you. Crosby is a self-taught baker with extensive experience in the wellness industry. He's written a book called The Fit Baker. It is available right now, and it is chock full of delicious recipes free of the usual inflammatory ingredients. If you're watching this, you're welcome. Crosby is also a model, and he is very handsome. And as for his body, you could cook an egg on it and do the laundry with it at the same time. He is truly heaven. Crosby, how are you?
Oh, man, what an intro. This was way better than the intro that we had when we tried to do the podcast a year ago or however long that was.
Yeah, so everyone who's intrigued by what Crosby just said, we tried to do a podcast about a year ago, and we decided not to do that. But in the meantime, here I am interviewing him on my own podcast, which is a pleasure. Tell me about this book that you've written, The Fit Baker. There are some delicious recipes. I've eaten some of the cookies myself.
Yeah.
Tell me what inspired it.
Well, it was mainly inspired by me having pretty bad gut issues in the last, 10 years, probably in my mid-20s. I had some pretty intense gut problems going on and some gut dysbiosis, and I had to figure out how to eat different. And one thing that I was eating at times that probably was setting me back was desserts that were full of inflammatory ingredients, the horrible flours and wheat and gluten, the refined sugar, all the vegetable oils that are in, you go get a donut or you go get a cookie somewhere, most of the time they're not using grass-fed butter, they're using canola oil, or they're using the cheapest oil they can get because they need to make a profit, right? So it was first revamping my diet in general, like my day-to-day breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But then, I needed to still eat sweets. I wanted to have a cookie or some kind of baked good or ice cream. And so I started to figure it out on my own. I started to put together kind of just pulled recipes from the internet, like things that I really loved, and go, okay, well, if they're using this, how do I substitute? What kind of flours do I want to use? And the one thing that I saw on the health market that was redundantly being used was almond flour. And I said, I'm going to separate myself from the almond flour community. People like to eat those desserts. I'm not going to judge them, but I didn't feel good eating a lot of nuts at the time. So that was not going to be in my desserts. So I kind of came up with these flour blends to start off. And I wanted to use a lot of collagen just to get some protein in the dessert as well to help stabilize blood sugar, but also most desserts don't have any protein. They're just carbs and fat, right? So give that kind of angle so we have a well-rounded macronutrient kind of dessert. And then I found things like cassava flour and coconut flour that I thought would be most beneficial for me. And it started off as just a hobby making stuff for myself, and then eventually turned into something where friends, family, people were asking, how do I get this? How do I buy this from you? Can you send this to me and I'll Instagram it, whatever. It just turned into something that kind of built a community through Instagram. And eventually, years later, I started to finally think, oh man, I need to put together a tangible product that people can actually have. So the first thing was the book. Yeah.
Great. And then tell me, when you had your gut issues, how did that manifest itself? Were you farty and bloated all the time, or what was going on?
Bloating was definitely one of the issues. I wasn't consistently going to the bathroom at the same times. The next day I had skin issues. I was getting breakouts in my cheeks and chin. Tired, just pretty much tired from 3 o'clock on. I'd work out, was doing all the same workouts at the time. But I think that I was running myself into the ground as well. So it was a combination of the gut breaking down from stress, from overtraining and not getting enough nutrients. At the time I was doing a lot of keto stuff, so that kind of messed me up too. We can go into that a little bit more. I like to talk about that now that
me too.
am in love with fruit and other carbs that I eat on a regular basis. And it was one of those things where if I wasn't bloated, I was gassy. If I wasn't gassy, I was just in pain in my stomach. And there were times when, I've been doing like modeling jobs out here, and there's times when, shirtless for a job or something, and I would be so inflamed that I wouldn't even want to go to the job because my stomach would be like distended on one side because of all the inflammation that I had. And so that's kind of my ode to health on how I learned everything, because I needed to heal myself. So I did tons of research. It wasn't like I went to school for nutrition. This isn't my background. I got a degree in business marketing and played football. Like, that was kind of my schooling. But it was beyond that, after the fact, that I got really passionate about nutrition and health and wellness, because I didn't want to feel like shit anymore. I didn't want to feel bad. And I also knew that my longevity was on the line, and the further and further you push yourself down these gut issue roads, I mean, that controls pretty much your whole body. So as long as you have those gut issues, you're going to be more susceptible to inflammatory issues later, cancer, diabetes, like you name it. Like, it all stems from having major gut issues at first. So I knew that I had to get that back on track. And so once I did, the one thing that I wasn't going to do was fall back in line and eat the crap, because that's what got me there in the first place. So I just avoid everything that makes me feel bad, and in very partial to all the nutrients that make me feel great. And I also, have some flexibility, and I'll go out to dinner and stuff and just enjoy myself, because now my gut is like pretty solid. So, I credit to that. I just started eating sourdough bread again. I could never eaten sourdough bread 3 years ago. So I know now that, like, I've definitely healed a lot of stuff. And it's just a breath of fresh air to feel like this now, as opposed to like some of the stuff that I was going through, because it affected everything. I mean, when your gut's off, it's not just digestion and elimination. It's your hormones, it's your muscle building, it's your sex drive, it's your sleep. I mean, everything starts to tank when you're dealing with that stuff. So thank God all that's over, and I feel 100% better. And this is probably the most vital I've felt maybe in my whole life. And because, we're young and stuff, we didn't know any fun like hacks when we're in our 18 to 25. We just had youth. And now it's like,
I feel like actually we were all hacks and no balance. Like, it was all like, let's go keto and let's go hard. Like, let's work out like really hard. And it's like, and let's get red light on our balls 20 minutes a day. And it's like, it's all hacks and it's no balance. It's no like, calm down and take a big breathe, work out and eat like, and make sure you have enough nutrition to work out. It's like you kind of grow up and get healthy, rather than like, it was all hacks before. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, the wisdom sets in, the groundedness of you as a human sets in, and you start to realize that like the simplicity of things is really important, and the simplicity of just day to day having like routine and good food and good sleep. If you are covering those bases if you're covering those bases every day, you're kind of setting yourself up for a win, and the rest of the day to be great. And then you kind of have room to have other kind of variables come in, and you're not like displaced by them. You're not like feeling like stressed out by things, because you're in such a good centered place.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, because I think a lot of people are listening in right now. They have a sweet tooth that they want to satiate. How do they do that? Like, what's the best way to satiate your sweet tooth without eating refined sugar?
Well, the 3 avenues that I really love, that I put together in the book, sweetness wise, would be monk fruit. If you're really trying to avoid sugar in general, I use monk fruit in some desserts, and also a monk fruit, organic monk fruit erythritol blend, because the baking side of things really doesn't do well with just monk fruit. Like the blend kind of really brings that well-roundedness sugar taste to the desserts. And then I personally really love anything sweetened with maple sugar, and I use an organic maple sugar from this amazing farm, Frostridge Farms, and all my desserts that I use maple in, I sweeten with that. And then, you can go the honey route, the coconut sugar route, dates, and then, frozen fruits and stuff. If you're making a smoothie, like just making sure to like cover all those bases, because I think we've gotten into this like demonization of all sugar. And it's really just the like overconsumption of refined sugar without anything added to it. Like even I know people that are, have been drinking Cokes their whole life. They're 80 and 90 years old, and they're still riding their bike down the street to go to Erewhon to have something. And they literally just stopped drinking sugar like yesterday. But they also eat meat and eggs, and they have like a balanced approach too. I think when we get imbalanced with the sugar and just start eating sugar all day long and no stabilization from protein, that's where the big issues come in. So I was one of those people that demonized those fruits and sugars and dates and honey and stuff. Oh, keto, I'm not going to eat that. I'm just avocado. I get my energy from fat. And it was like I was just lying to myself the whole time because I didn't have the best energy. I just thought that I was doing what I was supposed to be doing because it was such a fad at the time, right? And now I'm all realizing, as physical as I am on a daily basis and how much exercise I get, it's like I need to be consuming a certain amount of carbohydrates to be able to withstand that, or else my body goes into fight or flight, stress mode. And people, I think there's a new metabolic community that has come out that people are starting to realize that, hey, these simple sugars actually help with stress. They help us deal with stress better. They're the first type of energy that our body is going to use and utilize when we are stressed out. It's not going to tap into your coconut oil when you're stressed. I mean, that's going to take forever.
Well, and as well as that, the best way to fuel.
What's that?
I was going to say the best way to fuel a workout is with carbohydrate. Like if you're talking about big athletes, we're talking about people who work out for a job. They're eating carbs up the wazoo, and especially around their exercise. So that's what I've started to do. And I was like you, I was religiously keto and thought that, bananas were bad. And, it's like, and then you kind of, and
that's why we met, right? Because we were both like eating the same way.
Yes, exactly. And it wasn't, and I talked to my friend, the sports dietitian now, who works with me on my diet. And she's like, look, it's necessary when you're working out as much as you do and as seriously as you are, it's necessary to fuel those moments. And you don't have to punish your body as well as, putting it through punishment when you work out. Carbohydrates are a great fuel.
Yeah, 100%. And so they're in my lunch and dinner on a daily basis. Like I'm kind of now a everyday fruit for lunch and dinner guy. Every day, some kind of like white rice or maybe a potato lunch and dinner. And I feel great. My body's actually gotten leaner. I've built more muscle. My sleep has been better. I mean, every biomarker is better. And that's the result. That's the actual like truth behind the food. It's not what I've read on the internet. It's how I'm feeling on a regular basis, right? So I also get blood work done every like 6 weeks to 2 months, and that all looks good all the time now. And that was shot like really bad when I was doing keto stuff. So I think the proof's in the pudding when it comes to that. And I think that it really comes back to all the ancient philosophies about balance and having all the macronutrients in the diet, eating the good fats, eating the protein, eating the carbohydrates, and making sure they're all great sources and all not inflammatory type foods. You can't, cool, eat carbohydrates. I'm not telling you to go eat white Wonder Bread every day.
Yeah.
Right. But like, if you're going to have some like good, fresh, organic sourdough every once in a while, great. If you're going to eat the white rice on a daily basis, amazing. If your if you're metabolically healthy, you are supposed to eat carbs. The people that really should probably restrict some carbohydrates and have lower amounts of carbs are those that are probably like more clinically obese, have issues in terms diabetes type issues with their blood sugar. Maybe they're going to have to go through some trial and error to figure out what foods they can have on a regular basis, 100%. And I'm no, medical doctor to be able to tell, hey, everybody eat carbs, everybody eat protein. But I do know that when you are metabolically healthy, there's no problem with having a certain amount of carbohydrates every day. So I think that demonization is now it's actually let me breathe a bit too and get relaxed into the food more and enjoy myself. And because I'm pretty active, I'm constantly going to, I'm hitting the gym 4 or 5 days a week. I play volleyball on the weekends. We'll play for like 5-6 hours, and I just eat everything in sight when I'm playing because we're just burning. And I think a lot of people are doing a lot of burning, whether it's not just their workouts and their exercise on a daily basis, but their stress and their lifestyle. And then maybe they're going out and maybe they're drinking and maybe they're inflaming their body in certain ways. And then they're not getting enough nutrients to fill the tank, and they're always in a deficit. And I think that's when people start to break down the body, and that's when the gut issues start. And that's kind of the slippery slope. And so I think I am a major advocate of people getting back to that balanced approach, 3 square meals a day. If you like to have a couple snacks here and there, fine, but like make sure they're balanced ones. Protein with carbohydrates, I feel, is really beneficial for most people for the balance. And that's kind of how I live my food lifestyle on a daily basis now. And then I make my desserts, and that's pretty much between that and like Q chocolate and some dark chocolate and my baked goods or whatever. Like that's pretty much all I'll have dessert wise, or ice cream. I love ice cream, grass fed.
Nice. And then, so what are we talking about? We're talking about, when you do eat sweets, we're talking about stuff that's sweetened with monk fruit, erythritol, maple syrup, maple sugar, coconut sugar, honey. Is that right? And you're just staying away from anything that's refined sugar.
I personally don't do the refined sugar.
Yeah.
And I feel fine. I feel great on it. I don't necessarily think it's useful when I'm getting maple sugar that not only has the glucose that I'm wanting, but all the minerals and vitamins. Sugar doesn't have that.
Yeah.
So that
makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. So let's talk about some of the ingredients in the book. We got there's cassava flour, coconut flour. Tell me about why you like to use those and not regular flour.
Cassava.
How do you say it?
Cassava. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's cassava.
Yeah. I find that Americans overproduce. Like they try to be French when it's not necessary, but they get it wrong either way. Like it's cassava. I think it's cassava.
I think we have.
But it would be a root vegetable, which would probably be Pacific Islander, and my wife is a Maori, so trust me on this one.
So maybe you're right. Yeah. So cassava, I am using cassava flour in a lot of my recipes. I like that it's grain free. So that was a big one. I use only a specific cassava flour from a company called Otto's that I trust their sourcing, because there are cassavas that are coming from certain places that could potentially be high in I don't know if it's arsenic or it's some type of heavy metal that they're claiming that there's certain communities claiming that it's not, but they sent me their full report on how they're getting. It's not only how they get where they source it from, but how they actually manufacture the product too. It's very fine, powdered, typed down. And I've had other ones that are like really gritty. So I stick with that company, and I really recommend anybody that gets my book to load up on their product to be baking these products. And then, beyond that, I use a lot of coconut flour as well, but I won't use coconut flour by itself because it is so dense. And it'll make things taste kind of like a scone. You don't want your banana bread to taste very like dense and hard like a scone. So the blend between the three is really the ticket of cassava, coconut, and collagen. Because then the collagen gives it that more kind of gooey, chewy kind of texture. And that is my like base kind of like, it would be my gluten grain-free flour that I would, put that in the perfect ratios together, and you could probably package that. Somebody's probably going to take it.
Yeah,
it'll be on the shelf.
Yeah, you probably don't let them take. I mean, they'll take the idea, but you do it first. I reckon that'd be a great pancake and waffle mix.
Totally.
Do that, I'll buy it.
It's in the pancake recipe. It's really what you're working.
I really want to. I'm a pancake I love pancakes.
Really?
They're my favorite thing ever. I friggin' love pancakes. The other day I brought home a pancake mix, buttermilk. What's his name? Bob's Mill. Anyway, gluten-free.
Yeah, Bob.
And it's, with pancakes, it's my special time. It's not like I don't care that it's healthy if it's healthy or not. Like I want my special time. Pancakes, I'm going to drown it in maple syrup and butter, grass-fed butter, and just enjoy that. And as soon as my wife, Cara, saw, she's like, Daddy got some pancakes, did he? It's because it's my thing. I bloody love pancakes. You should make that pancake mix.
There's nothing.
Sell the pancake mix.
With some pancakes.
They're so good.
Nothing wrong.
They're so good.
I mean, especially if you wash it down with a big glass of goat milk or something. Then you got the protein there. Daddy's ready for a workout.
What about almond flour? You mentioned I loved it before when you said the community who supports almond flour. That sounds like an evil community that I don't like them at all. Almond flour people. But tell me about what is F you almond flour people. What is the problem with almond flour? Like you just found that personally it didn't work for you?
Well, I think that people got the keto or the low carb community got obsessed with figuring out a way to make desserts. And they said, oh, well, what flours can you use? And the one high fat flour that is sold everywhere is almond flour. And it caught on, and there's a big rave, and there's tons of desserts across the country now that are loaded with almond flour, and that's kind of the main. I mean, every baking mix that I've ever seen on the shelf is literally almond flour, baking soda, salt, and the sweetener. And I'm like, they're all selling the same exact thing. It's the same exact 4 ingredients packaged in a different package with a different cookie label and trying to pawn themselves off that they're doing something different. It's like everybody's doing the same exact thing. Maybe they have different ratios, but I said, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do the almond flour. Plus I don't do well eating a lot of nuts and seeds. And that was one thing that I was eating a lot of back in the day when I had my gut issues.
Right.
And started following a lot of people in the metabolic community that were like, one of the best things you could do for your digestive health if you're having gut issues is to just get rid of all the stuff that's hard to digest. And nuts and seeds are one of those things. They're a heavy, fatty food that has enzyme inhibitors in them and all sorts of, phytic acid and stuff that like basically the body, it doesn't want to get eaten. So I was like, well, I'm not going to pack my dessert with a whole cup of almond flour. How many almonds is that? I mean, if you eat half the dessert that you made a coffee cake and you ate 4 slices, you might as well have just taken that much almonds and just took them down at that sitting, right? So that was kind of a big reason beyond the idea that almonds are a high polyunsaturated fat, PUFA, and that comes with, it's a basically a mini bond type fat that the more bonds there are, the faster the oxidation of the product. So the quicker it could go rancid and be considered at that point, really, it's basically just toxic for the body. I mean, it creates a lot of free radical damage. The linoleic acid in the polyunsaturated fats can just basically kind of mess up your metabolism over time if you're really hammering them down. If you're really hammering down the canola oil and the nuts and seeds and the soybean oil and safflower oil and all the different other vegetable oils on a regular basis, thinking like, oh, I'm just eating these vegetables from this health food market. I mean, Whole Foods drenches all their hot food in canola oil. And people go there thinking they're eating a healthy meal. And they're eating all these vegetables.
You really killed my joy for a long time there.
What's that?
You killed my joy for a long time there, because I used to love just going through that hot food aisle and, having a great time. I've seen Max Lugavere there I've seen you filming Max Lugavere there saying, oh, you're just getting some canola oil. And then I was like, oh, well, you've ruined a good time, Crosby. Like, now I have to go to Erewhon and have it not be canola oil. And now I'm going to lose $40 every time I do,
Was that your Lugavere impression there?
No, that was me impersonating you, telling Lugavere, "Oh, you're gonna have some canola oil there." I mean, but that's not you. But it was that vibe. It was like you were
Yeah.
being like such a bro butthole to him, you know?
Very judgy, right?
Yeah. I have to ask you because I'm obviously a fan of your cookies and I've eaten them many times. I want to know what your pick of cookies are. I'll give you favorite cookie, and then you have to tell me your favorite of the rest. I already have my favorite. My favorite of the cookies is always the regular choc chip. But the one thing that I haven't eaten that I want to is the banana cream pie.
Oh
my gosh. I can't believe how good it looks. I'm going to actually get it open. So here are the pancakes. For anyone watching this, look at those pancakes. Kill me.
There's some blueberries in there.
Kill me. Okay, go on.
I personally like the maple sweetened oatmeal chocolate chip cookie the most. Always been always been an oatmeal chocolate chip fan. And when I figured out, I'm just going to use sprouted oats because oats it's a grain, but it's it can come with some more phytic acid and that kind of stuff. But the sprouted, you're going to get rid of a lot of that. So I use a company that does an organic sprouted oat, and that's what I'm packaging in the oatmeal chocolate chip cookie mix. Because right now, when you get the book calls for the mixes to use for the cookies. And with supply chain issues and everything that we're going through in this world right now, the book came out faster than the mixes. So the mixes are coming, but they're a little delayed.
Oh, sweet.
And I already have some people down my throat about it on Instagram. Going, oh my God, I got the book. Like, but wait, I can't make the cookie recipe because it calls for the cookie mix. Where do I get that? And I'm like, well, it's not available yet, but this is when it's going to be. So I'm doing a little damage control right now, and I apologize.
Because is it a secret? The mix is a secret. Other people can't make the mix?
The mix was beyond the book and anything that I've ever made. The mix was my idea from the start that I was like, oh, this is my proprietary blend that I don't really feel like giving away to people. And if I put
and
it
you
together,
shouldn't. It's yours. It belongs to you. You're the colonel. You're the Crosby colonel.
And in a perfect world, the mix would be out and everybody would be happy and they'd be buying the book and the mixes and making all sorts of cookies right now. And unfortunately, that's not the case. And I apologize to my very loyal customer base that has gotten the book and has not had the ability to get.
And by the way, to the customer base or anyone listening, the cookie mix is very rarely called for throughout the book. I think it's only in the cookie section, and there's only a few cookies that it relates to, but the rest of them you can just go ahead and make. For instance, I did want to just look at this banana. There is no mix needed for this. Look at that banana cream pie right there.
That's Linda's famous banana cream pie, and Linda is.
I wanted to ask you, who's Linda?
Yeah, so one of my good friends growing up.
Oh, it's your ex. That's disgusting, Crosby. You used to give her the banana cream pies? Let's keep this PC, please. Now, who's Linda? Tell me.
Oh, Linda. She's one of my best friends growing up.
Oh, Linda.
His wife, his mom. You got me all flustered now talking about. So Linda's going to crack up from this. Anthony's mom every Christmas made the most incredible banana cream pie. And once we were done with my grandparents, my family would go to his family for dessert. And she always made a pie for everybody and then an extra pie for my family, me especially, because I was so obsessed with the pie growing up. Because I would eat like 4 or 5 pieces while we were hanging out that night. And this is when, I'm playing football. I didn't care about sugar or gluten.
Yeah.
So we would because she makes it from scratch, and it's got everything. It's got everything in it, and it's like
Linda there's nothing she leaves out.
Huh?
Oh, there's nothing Linda leaves out.
Linda didn't leave anything out. No, she went after that pie.
Oh, is that Linda?
Declined.
Oh, Linda. Sorry, Linda's calling.
So. Yeah, so I said, you know what, I'm going to hit Linda up because I think that would be a very amazing addition to the book to have her pie in my creation. So I took her recipe and I made it my way, and it's now completely gluten and grain free. It has all grass fed this and that. and it's full of egg yolks too. So super anabolic. It's a pretty anabolic pie. I mean, you feel nice and grounded and ready to like get after the gym the next day after a couple pieces the night before.
I mean, that is incredible because, you know, so much of the time we eat sweets or we eat ice cream and they're not that great for you. Or even if they're like marketed as good for you, you still feel a little bit of stomach upset.
Sure.
I was looking at your stuff and I was like, see, look at these ingredients. This is like legitimate ingredients that you could eat this almost as a meal on its own, right?
Yes.
And feel okay, like, you know, to go to bed, for instance, and not, you know, blow your wife away with your farts.
Right. I mean, if you overeat, you're probably going to have a little bit of that. But
yeah, sure. I'm just saying if you don't overeat and, you know, the ingredients are so good that you may not be, you know what I mean?
You're not only going to be, you know, not gassy, you're probably going to be ready for something else.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I did want to get into that actually. That was what I was going to talk about next. But I'm gonna call this podcast Cookie Farts.
What's that?
I'm going to call this podcast Cookie Farts, just so you know. Let's talk about sex because I know you love it and I do too. And we all love it. It's all delicious. So, and you're a supplement. Why wouldn't you love it? Exactly. It's how you were made. So you're a supplement king also. What supplements do you recommend for better sex and sex drive?
Supplements. So, man, there's like a lot of avenues, I think, for sexual vitality, both men and women. Men especially, you know, gotta be there endurance wise, gotta be there in strength and power, and, you know, gotta also have that energy that you're coming with that she can actually feel. So
Blood flow
is definitely, yeah, it's high on the list. And there is a unbelievably high amount of men that are way too young taking all these pharmaceuticals already. The Cialis and the Viagra. And it's kind of a, you know, it's not like a once in a while thing. I mean, it's become the go-to for men every weekend that they might be with a girl or something. Like that's how they operate now. And I think that's actually going to bite people in the ass because it comes with the side effects, right? But the reason that these products are so effective is they have a mechanism called PDE5 inhibitor. And what that does is it widens blood vessels, brings more blood to the penis, and then keeps the blood there by limiting the time that it leaves to go back to the rest of the body. So that's what a PDE5 inhibitor does. Black ginger has built-in PDE5 natural mechanism to it. So not only do you take black ginger and use it for, you know, your sex life, it's also amazing pre-workout because it's great for circulation, nitric oxide in general. It's going to bring blood flow to the rest of the body. Amazing for digestion, no side effects. And that's in my that'll stay in my cupboard till the day I die. Like I'm not gonna. Yeah, and my friends at Addictive Wellness, they sell a powder version that's awesome. So very available. I mean, there's companies that are trying to sell the pills and stuff, but I would just get stuff from them because they make a really good product and their stuff's great. So I'll put, you know, as needed, I'll use a quarter to a half teaspoon of black ginger. And that is very, very effective. In general, for men, hormone optimization is probably at the top. So
yeah, because I was going to say, like, you know, what you were bringing up, sorry to cut you off, what you were bringing up about, you know, young men taking all these, you know, Viagra, all these things is because they don't have optimized testosterone. They haven't optimized their hormones because of unhealthy living. What do you think that's due to? Like, you know, let's get into that a bit because what we have seen over the last 50 years, a general drop in testosterone in the male population. And we don't, and I guess we kind of know, but why do you think that is?
Well, we're sick. We're sick as a society. We are being fed poison on a regular basis. We are listening to the wrong sources about our what we should be eating. We are completely, most of us are from top down, believe everything that from top down is being told to us. And it's putting us in places that it's creating real great turmoil in our health. And I think from seed oils, definitely huge. That is just in everything. So going back to the canola, the safflower, the sunflower, the soybean, cottonseed, all these oils that these companies are using, that's definitely plummeting our hormones and our metabolic health. The plastics that are in everything. Mm-hmm. So drinking out of plastic on a regular basis will definitely do it, but it's also just in general, like we're kind of like surrounded by a lot of that when it comes to also like cosmetics and all the different fragrances too. Like we're getting all these chemicals that our body is just like going, like we're not used to this. We're used to, you know, our bodies thrive in the sun and eating fresh fruit, you know, fruit and meat. And I think that we're getting steered in the wrong direction by the wrong people, and we're listening to the wrong things, and it's putting our health as a global nation in jeopardy. I saw a statistic that showed somebody I follow that showed that there was like 7% chronic disease in the 30s, and now at 2020 we're already at 65% chronic disease as a population.
Yeah, wow,
it's terrifying.
Yep.
I mean, we're becoming like a slightly almost distinct population, you know, when it comes to
internationally.
Yeah, and where our longevity is going too. So
yeah,
those definitely, all those things, like if you have poor health, you're going to have poor hormones. It's probably a very good chance, right? So getting the right nutrition, getting the right sleep, relieving yourself of your stress, and being able to like find things, good breath work, good meditation, do things that you love on a regular basis, be around great communities and have great friends and loved ones that support you. You know, we're not here to be isolated. We're not here to be doing all these things on our own and be individually rising to the top with nothing around us. Like we thrive with community. So, you know, if you're like that type of loner and you feel like your health is in jeopardy, get around people. Get around people that make you laugh and make you feel good.
Get outside as well. Get outside into the sun. Get into the morning sun. Get sunlight into your eyes. Lift heavy things. Go for walks. Talk about your feelings with your loved ones.
Be vulnerable.
Yeah, vulnerability is good. And then also, I mean,
drink good, clean water.
Yeah, good, clean water. Don't drink tap water, especially if you're living in a, you know, I don't think there's anywhere really in America that has good tap water. I can't think of it. Maybe Montana.
Yeah, we're not. It's not the right route. But yeah, so getting blood work done, optimizing your hormones, everything from testosterone, estrogen, sex hormone binding globulin, the list goes on, DHT, and understanding like, oh, if my blood work is off, okay, now do some research and figure out what you need to do to optimize those counterpoints that are off, right? And if you want to go a supernatural route and find some herbs and stuff, I really love, especially for like testosterone, and Huberman really talks about it a lot too, is the Fedoga agrestis. Have you heard of this one?
No.
That one I've been, I have one here. I set them up to show. I get this one from this company, Double Wood or something, but Double Wood, it's a pretty good name for testosterone.
Fedoga, it's a test. What does it do? It just optimizes testosterone?
It optimizes free testosterone levels. Yeah, supports healthy testosterone levels.
Wow.
Fenugreek is another one that is really good for that. And then overall, like I really love supplementing with all the organ supplements, like ancestral supplements or Heart and Soil. They have great everything from liver and bone marrow, and then for men they have optimized products that have testicle, prostate, heart in the capsules. You're not going to go eat. You're not eating testicle. You're just getting it in a capsule. Don't freak out.
Yeah, I just want to make something clear, because like, you know, what you're talking about is ways to optimize testosterone in particular. And testosterone, I think even in women, like women who have a higher sex drive tend to have a high testosterone. Is that correct?
Yeah, they kind of go hand in hand. I think progesterone has some play in that as well. And, I think it's both sides very balanced. Like I think for men, really to optimize where they want to be, it's like having that really nice discrepancy between testosterone and estrogen and making sure their DHT isn't like going crazy so they don't lose their hair. And then their sex hormone binding globulin has to be in a balanced state too, so that optimizes their free testosterone and frees up the testosterone to be used. So once that is all taken care of, then on a regular basis, you can have high overall testosterone, but then have your free testosterone also be in nice normal ranges that you're using on a regular basis. And then when those things are optimized, you'll notice that like you have so much motivation every day and ambition. You're ready to hit the gym on a regular basis. You have energy throughout the day after that. When you eat, you digest your food really well. Your sex drive is through the roof. Like, I think that's how men would want to feel. That's how anybody would want to feel. I think
people want to feel, mate.
That in general too. I mean, it's not. I think there's a misconception that like having high testosterone turns you into this like meathead that's like angry and like punches through a wall or something. It's like, no, that's not actually what it is. That's actually more of a high testosterone with estrogen going high too.
Right.
They're kind of like very emotionally unstable and you probably could do some stupid shit. But I
want to ask you about some sex hacks. You mentioned I mentioned to you that I want to talk about that. So any sex hacks, sex tips, but without giving all your secrets away?
The one major difference maker. Everybody wants to.
Is it Linda is just rabid for it?
Unbelievable.
She's like, "Where's my banana cream pie?"
No. Oh. This is why I'm deleting you right now. No. Don't call again. So, it's my brother. He's trying to probably show me. I have a 1-year-old nephew who's just the most adorable guy in the world, and he's always calling to show me what he's doing. So, I'll get back to that after this. But
love it.
To the hack. So the hack, one of the best ones I think, is to replenish the body with the right fluids that it needs to be built in a strong place to actually have the sex drive, have the endurance, have the withstanding to operate on a regular basis, like all day, whenever you want. It's not like, I got one in me a day. No. You can have 5 in you a day if you want. It's just how you
you've just got to replace the fluids that are lost.
It's literally that simple. And the one product that has an herb in it called dendrobium stem is the most vital fluid building Chinese herb that's ever. It's like the herb of the gods, like every Chinese like Orients in the day has been using. They call it healer's tea, or you call it honeymooner's tea, but it's basically a blend of dendrobium stem, schizandra, minerals. So we basically lose zinc, minerals, and these other things in our sexual fluids that can be replenished by this dendrobium stem, which is amazing. But beyond that, like zinc, I would be saying probably like take zinc or eat some pumpkin seeds or have some oysters, and you're going to get your zinc and copper as well is important. But the healer's tea, I have that's also amazing for replenishing you after workouts too. It's just an overall, and if you're sweating a lot, if you're somebody that sweats or like goes and sits in the sauna or sweats on a regular basis, like sweating is good for detoxification, but over sweating, you're literally losing all your good minerals all the time. We don't need to be sweating all that much, especially if you're already lean and you're not trying to lose weight. It's like, why are we trying to look like, carved out sculptures all the time, losing all of our water weight? Like,
yeah, right.
If you're balanced, you can look like that still, but not have to be losing all this stuff. So, I think there's a weird thing about salt still for people, and they don't eat, as much of it. People, there's, misconception obviously about that. And I heard you talking with Dr.
Dr. James DeNick.
Yeah. And he is a big guy, obviously a big guy in salt, and I follow him and love his stuff too. But I would say, yes, because, we're not, I would say the average person isn't putting like a good 30, 45 minutes in. They might not have that in the tank, but if you don't have that in the tank the first time, you can take, you can replenish and be ready to go on a better kind of basis the next time.
Right. There's a way of replenishing your sexual fluids is what Crosby's saying. And you've given us some like incredible supplements that I'd never heard of. So thank you for all those mentions. I wanted to ask.
You can go the Tongkat Ali route too. You can go ginseng, red ginseng. These are all the like hotter herbs that are more yang herbs in Chinese medicine. There's yin and yang, and the yin is really more the dendrobium is the deepest yin. So that's like replenishing the coals, right? And then you can light the fire with the yang herbs. So if you don't have the coals and you just dousing yourself with red ginseng, you're going to burn out and you're not going to be worth a shit either. But if you have this major fuel tank of coals from the dendrobium and schizandra and the things that lock the fluids in, not only is that going to give you great endurance, but it's also going to help that fire to be prolonged so that you have, when you do use those deer antlers and the ginsengs and the, Fadoga and the ones that give that like more desire feeling and that, mojo energy, then you're in a good place to be in, your best,
get to work,
to be in your best self for performance. Yes.
Yeah, I love that. I wanted to, we've talked about this before, but I did want to get your read on this etiquette, right? You have a very good looking partner, Tess, now, and so do I. What's the proper etiquette around liking her pictures on Instagram? Because here's the thing, I want to support her because she posts, she's a model, so she posts these beautiful pictures. Well, I just want to talk, wait, just let me finish here because like, she posts all these model pictures and I want to support her because she's a great person, but I also don't want you to see me liking all the pictures and go, gosh, Luke's a bit of a creep. Like, what do you think the best way around that is?
I think it starts off with that person being honest with themselves if they're like too insecure or not. Because if you're secure and your buddy is just, as you said, giving a like because they want to be a cheerleader going rah, rah, like, good job. Like you're getting a great post as opposed to like, wow, hot ass, If in my head I'm going, oh, Luke just thinks she's got a hot ass, like nice ass. then I'm going into a different place. But if I'm like, I saw Luke cook and I'm like, oh yeah, thanks, bro. Like
I liked it. Exactly. I'm certainly not going to comment, anything ridiculous like that. What I tend to do is,
that bit's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. If I was to say good ass, I mean, to anyone but Kara, that would be weird. But you see, what I do is actually I wait for you to like it first, and then I feel like it's okay to like it, just because I'm like, I don't know, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think also, I think that we live in a world where it's really quite easy to like get in our heads about what's on social media too. To be looking at stuff, and go, what did he say? Who like?
I have a friend who I notice when he likes not Kara's stuff. I notice when he likes my other friend's wife's pictures, and he always likes them before I see them. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm always like, gosh, he likes all of her pictures. And then he's a married man too. And so I'm always like, I just feel like he should be careful. Like he likes her pictures so quickly.
Maybe he's just got that phone in his hand and he's just,
maybe he scours.
Oh, cool. She looks good. Oh yeah.
I just don't feel like it looks good. I feel like if I've noticed it, then his husband, the woman of the pictures he's liking, her husband is definitely noticing. Like, I think he should be careful. Like, all I'm saying is there's this etiquette that's very strange when it comes to attractive partners, to going like, I support you, and also like, how hot are you?
I get what you're saying. It's like, oh yeah, here's some like hot bikini shot of her.
Yeah, like, okay, I'll give you an example. I'll give you a great example. My friend Harley, he's a beautiful man himself. His wife, her name's Nat Rosa, and she's a bikini model. And we're all friends. And then I became, and now bikini models just post bikini shots. Like there's no bridal couture. Like it's just bikini. And I'm like, and so
trees, there's no nature.
Right. So like at first I was like, what I'm going to do is I'll like the picture if he has already liked it. But then she keeps posting all the pictures, and they're so, provocatively like hot, that I'm like, I can't actually deal with this.
Right.
I need to, yeah, I'm sorry, Nat, if you're listening to this, but I had to mute her. I was like, I actually can't see it. It's just not helpful.
No. Yeah. I think that's a good way to go. The mute, you don't want to do the unfollow. That's kind of rude. But
I'm not saying anything about Tessa. I haven't muted Tessa, but Tessa's not that overly provocative. And can I also say that picture behind you, she painted that, didn't she?
She did. I actually had a different one here. This is my living room, but I thought I like this one to be my background.
I love it. It's excellent.
Yeah, the
super talented. Good. Yeah, hot people don't tend to be talented, but you, me, and her, huh?
Very, very, very talented. Yeah, she is.
Yeah,
working tirelessly to get art out to the world, and she's got some pieces for at the real. Was that weird? Was that a weird thing to say?
No, it was just funny because I made a joke about how it's hard for hot people to be talented, but you, me, and her, like you, me, and her. Pretty talented, like pretty hot.
I guess maybe I was just trying to brush over in a humble way.
No, that's fine. But Tessa's art is incredible. So if you're listening to this and you want to go and check it out, and you like the look of what is behind Crosby, please go and check it out.
Tessa Griner Arts is the Instagram.
Tessa Griner Arts, beautiful. Okay, let's play a game. We're gonna call this game Zaddy Quick, and it's where I say something and you have to say what you think about what I said. As you have to answer as quickly as possible. Okay. Oh, no, it's okay. Don't worry. It's not going to be anything too.
I'm going to say something crazy because I'm competitive and I want to do it right. So I'm not going to think.
Don't worry.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Okay. Okay.
That's
just
serious.
Something crazy where I'm like, I say some like weird word that people are like, whoa.
It's going to be, it's well within your,
it's fucking weird.
It's well within your wheelhouse. Don't freak out on me. Okay. You ready? Okay. First one, Gatorade.
Sugar.
Beyond Meat.
Canola oil.
I love you. Colostrum.
Delicious.
Ben Greenfield's pectorals.
Overly shown on Instagram.
Max Lugavere's hair, and be honest.
All the time from Ben. Max Lugavere.
Max Lugavere's hair, and be honest.
Disheveled bedhead. He loves it. Oh, this looks so good, right? Bedhead.
What is bedhead the thing that he boasts about?
He just likes, he doesn't like that his hair looks like overly done. He likes the idea that it's like a little disheveled.
Okay. I mean, he's a snack, so I get it. It's okay. Okay.
What an eligible bachelor out here in LA.
I know. He must be palming him off. Acai bowls.
Messy.
Tofu.
Disgusting.
69ing.
Obsessed. Sorry. You said first word.
I love it. Okay, next. Next. Okay. Here we go. Okay. If we made out and it was really good, and the next day you found out I was your cousin, would you make out with me again?
No. Not if you're my cousin. No, that's weird.
Well, yeah. So, like, but would you be weird? Like, you wouldn't talk to me? Or would you like, oh, gosh, it's annoying that it was such good chemistry.
I think the chemistry, I'm a sucker for chemistry. So I think that if that was there, I'd probably have some anxiety for sure about it. Yeah.
I mean, think about the chemistry would be like, we'd know why the chemistry was so good because we're related.
If you're still listening, it's getting good now, folks. We're not talking about cassava flour anymore.
No. Anyway, mate, I have absolutely loved talking to you. You are a legend. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are out there and you are interested in making delicious recipes that are also good for you, got to get the Fit Baker by Crosby Taylor. It's available to buy right now, and in a couple of weeks/months, there will be cookie mix. Is that correct?
I hope months isn't plural. We would like to keep it to that 3 week to a month range. Yeah. We don't want plural months.
Perfect. And where can we find you and follow you and your journey, Crosby?
Find me on Instagram at Crosby Tailor with an I, Tailor. My website will be up soon, crosbysbakingco.com. And the Fit Baker book link is also in my link in bio on my Instagram, so you can go straight to that and find the book at the top.
We're going to link to it in the show notes also. Crosby, it's been a pleasure.
Awesome. But that's okay.
Just say goodbye. I love you. Just so we have it.
Bye, buddy. Let's link up soon for a steak.
Yes, please. Okay, don't close at anything, Crosby. Don't close.